Carl, thank you. Joining us now exclusively here at the Active Passive Summit is one of Wall Street's most influential activists, Starboard Value's CEO, Jeff Smith. Just unveiled his latest investment ideas here at the conference as well, and we'll talk about all of those. Well, first of all, thanks. It's our annual tradition. I appreciate you keeping it up.
Yeah, thank you, David. It's nice to be here.
You seem thrilled.
Thrilled. Love being here.
You talked about three different names, two of which you've already spoken about previously, at least been identified with publicly at Starboard. But one was a new idea, so I'd love to start there. It's Fluor, construction-related company. What is the central part of your thesis that you're looking for as an activist in Fluor?
Yeah, look, we have a good relationship with the executive chair at Fluor. We know the industry really well. In 2019, we had made an investment in AECOM, which has done really well. But what's interesting is in that decade, in the 2010s, there were a whole bunch of companies that were doing construction, kind of tripping over each other and getting into bad contracts. That's when we got involved in AECOM, and they got out of construction, and they did really well. Some other companies ended up going bankrupt with their construction segments of their business, and others got out. Fluor also had some bad contracts then, too. They made the decision to bring in David Constable as the CEO, but not to get out of construction, but instead to work through it. And what's become really interesting is they're in the right place now with far less competition. So the contracts are getting better and better. They're working out of the bad, mostly worked out of the bad backlog, and have really good business going forward at a cheap valuation with a good management team. So we're excited about that.
All right, so you're happy with the trajectory and with management. So what are you unhappy with?
Well, and we're also happy with the timing because, you know, as you keep talking about and others do, the reindustrialization in the U.S. is happening. So this is a company that's going to be at the forefront and should be a winner as it relates to that. So Great company, great place, terrific. And it's fairly valued if you just look at it on its as a whole. But they also made an investment years ago into New Scale, and New Scale then went public, and New Scale now represents more than half the value of the company. So if you look at the company from an enterprise value standpoint, it's a $6 billion enterprise value company, all of Fluor. Their New Scale stake is worth $5 billion.
Yeah.
If you tax affect it, $4 billion. So what we want them to do is to be thoughtful as it relates to how to monetize that stake, because if you took out that stake, the rest of the business trades at a valuation that's just way too cheap for a growing, terrific, well-placed company, well-positioned company at about 3 times. So we're excited about it. We're excited about working with them. We're excited about, you know, the future of the company as a business. We're also excited about, you know, the monetization opportunities for the New Scale stake.
And they say their commitment, this is a statement from Fluor, remains the successful and timely use of the investment in New Scale to enhance our returns to shareholders, pointing out that they've had success in the investment since New Scale's May 2022 listing. The value of Fluor's stake has grown substantially above the $10 price. So what's your response to their statement?
I don't know that I have a response to their statement. I mean, that's true. I mean, the stock has done unbelievably well. They sold some stock last quarter, and this, you know, New Scale stock continues to do well. That being said, you know, it can do well on its own. It doesn't have to be inside of Fluor, and the rest of Fluor should appreciate the value of the core business.
So you don't want them to sell it over time. You'd like to see them do a wholesale disposal of the stake and then reallocate the proceeds?
Either a sale or monetization, some way to separate it out from Fluor to make sure that the shareholders get the full appreciation of the core business.
Jeff, I wanted to talk to you about Kenvue. You're a director, so I know you're going to be potentially limited in what you can say. But it was a year ago we were talking about it right here. We talked about Pfizer. Kenvue was also certainly something. It's been a disastrous investment, no other way to put it. And I'm just curious, as now a board member, you were not a year ago, how you view the prospects for the company. CEO has changed since then. You have an interim CEO. There are any number of other activist investors in there, as I've reported, who conceivably are going to come after the entire board. There is the hope, I think, that somehow there's a potential sale process that would result in a premium buyer. What can you tell both your investors at Starboard and the investors broadly who you represent as a board member of Kenvue?
Yeah, look, Kenvue's really not that different today than it was a year ago when we talked about it. These are the best brands, far and away the best brands in consumer health. We love the business. It was cheap a year ago. It's cheaper now. So am I happy the stock went down? No. Am I thrilled to own it at this valuation? Yes. Thrilled to own it at this valuation. So you have to keep looking at it on a go-forward basis. And where we're sitting today is better than where we were a year ago. So I'm on the board. We put some other people on the board as well. The board is working well together. We replaced the CEO. We replaced the CFO. We announced that we're exploring strategic alternatives. So if you would have told me a year ago that we would have been able to make those changes as fast as we were able to make those changes, I would tell you that I would be really happy.
Right, except for the fact that over the last 6 months, the stock's down 32%.
Yeah, some things are. Some
of it completely out of your control, to be fair. Nobody expected Tylenol and autism and the linkage that's been made by the administration.
Yeah, well, I think that is it. That's entirely it. So,
well, stock wasn't doing particularly well prior to that, to be fair.
The stock was above our cost basis prior to that. So, I mean, I think the company was doing okay, and we were making the changes that were needed to improve the business, the fundamental value of the business, the culture, the performance, the operating performance of the business. So again, if you would have asked me a year ago if I was able to get involved in the company, make some changes to the board, go on the board, change the CEO, announce an exploration of strategic alternatives, I would tell you that that is getting a lot accomplished, and I'd be pretty happy. I think there's also some underlying fundamentals of many of the business lines and the brands that are doing much better as well. So I would also tell you that I'm really happy. There are some things, sometimes, that are outside of your control. It's unfortunate. It's not fun. It gives me a headache. I might want to take some Tylenol. But there's not much I can do about that except move forward and do the best job I can for the benefit of the company and the shareholders.